I used to be so broke in $100,000 of debt and stuck at a job that really didn't fulfill me. And at some point I got so sick of myself that I just made the decision to level up. Fast forward 8 years later, I am a self-made millionaire. I am now living my dream life, like legitimately. I get to wake up and do whatever I want, how I want, with whom I want, and when I want. Now, there is a lot of information out there on what to do, but it's really about who you need to become. It's not about what business to start, what to invest in, or how much money to be saving every month. It's really about the inner game, everything that goes on in here that's not visible under the surface. So that is what we'll be getting into today. So for me, it all started with first making that decision to enter my rich girl era. I know it sounds obvious, but a big part of this is realizing that no one else is gonna do this for you. If you're anything like me when I started, maybe you don't look at your finances at all. You avoid it completely because you're just too scared to realize what's going on. And you think that someday, somehow, something is gonna eventually get better. But honestly, it won't, and you know that. I was conditioned to believe in this sort of Prince Charming concept. Not so much the idea that a romantic partner would save me necessarily, but this idea that something or someone outside of us is going to change our lives or make everything happen for us. And that as long as I'm nice and I work hard and I'm just doing the mostest for everything and everyone around me, one day I will get recognized for my efforts and my life will become amazing. But honestly, that's a very disempowering way to live, right? So that's where it really starts. You have to first roll up your sleeves and look at your life and be like, all right, how do I make this happen for myself? I will never forget the day that I stood in my living room and I gathered up the courage to just dig up all my old accounts and numbers, and I taped up a piece of paper on the wall with one side saying assets and the other side saying liabilities. And on each side, I listed out everything. On my assets side, I listed out my savings, which wasn't much, by the way. And then on my liability side, everything that I owed, credit cards, student loans, mostly student loans, and all of that. And then I calculated the difference between both numbers to give me my net worth. Just imagine me in my pajamas, I'm standing in my tiny little New York City living room, and for the first time, I am literally staring in the face my net worth. And I was honestly shocked at how little I had to show for all those years of hard work. In that moment, something inside me just shifted. It was like this fire just lit under me. And as I was staring at the gap between where I was and where I actually wanted to be, I just knew that I was gonna do whatever it takes to bridge that gap. And you'll hear more about my journey later on in the video, but this right here, this little piece of paper is where this whole journey began. So after that very sobering come to Jesus moment where I looked at all my numbers, the other thing that I did was I quit my job. Now, if you are in a job that you love and it pays well, then you can totally just skip this step. But for me, I was in a job that paid pretty well, but it really didn't fulfill me. And a big part of living your rich girl era is loving what you do, right? What's the point of making a lot of money and being miserable doing it? I don't think that's living in your rich girl era. And so once I had saved up some money, I quit my job and took a 6-month sabbatical. It was definitely a bold, maybe even reckless move given the amount of debt that I had. But I knew that as long as I held on to my job as my safety net, I would never really do what it takes to create something new for myself. I'm not recommending this for everyone. I'm not telling you to go quit your job. This is personally what worked for me, just removing that safety net and just cutting myself off so that I would have to fly. I would just have to do something new for myself because there was no other option. So I know it sounds obvious, but if you really want to enter your rich girl era, the first step is to decide that you will. The word decide comes from the Latin root decidere, which means to cut off. So it takes cutting off any other possible outcome other than the outcome that you want. So once you've done that, you are ready to take the next step. Okay, the next phase of entering my rich girl era looked like this. I basically picked the one thing that would make everything else I wanted in my life possible, and then I just went for it. Let me explain. I know that as human beings, you are multifaceted, you have a lot of different passions because we're not meant to do just one thing for the rest of our lives. However, if you want to enter your rich girl era, you can only do one thing at a time. One. So for me, after quitting my finance job, which I'd gone to school for, this is the career track that I thought I would be on. And then once I quit my job, I really didn't know what else I wanted to do with my life. I had a lot of different passions, but which one do I actually make a career out of, which one is gonna make me money. And so I gave myself room to try out a lot of different things. After my sabbatical, I took about 4 years to try out different things. I had a real estate job. I even had a dance apprenticeship at one point. I even thought about opening my own pole dance studio. I even did like a 3-month thing in a network marketing business. I mean, I could go on. There were a couple other things on that list. And in that time, I also read a ton of books. I signed up for a lot of courses, both personal development, about business, about different career paths that I could potentially pursue. I just took a lot of time to soak up, learn, and try different things. And in that time, I was also slowly chipping away at my debt, just keeping my finances in order and not keeping my head in the sand, and just increasing my net worth 1 0 at a time. Now, looking back, I love this period of my life. Yes, it was a little bit scary and overwhelming during those 4 years to not really know what I'll be doing for the rest of my life, but I learned a lot about myself during this period. But then at some point, you do have to pick a lane. So if you want to enter your rich girl era, I want you to pick one thing that will make you the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. This is something I really want to emphasize. If you want to enter your rich girl era, you want to transform your finances, you want to make your life look completely different like it has never been before, it will take a focused sprint of making money your #1 fucking priority. Now, it doesn't always have to be that way. I don't want to make it sound like you need to make your life all about money and become like money hungry and greedy, but for at least a certain period of time while you're getting things off the ground and entering into your rich girl era, you need to really focus on what is gonna make you money. Now, if you want to choose the starving artist life, that's fine. But this is about people who want to enter their rich girl era, right? And at least for me, choosing that period of just making money, giving up all the other passions and creative hobbies that I had on the side to really focus on my money-making thing, which is my business, which I'll be telling you about in a little bit, that really made all the difference for me. And that is what allows me today to be able to dance and do all the fun things that I enjoy doing, my creative hobbies, without struggling with money. I own my own place. I have this cute little place where I can dance. I have mirrors. It's like just putting aside one passion of mine for one period of my life to focus on the financial money-making aspect has made everything I want in my life possible. So that's what I mean when I'm saying the one thing that will make everything else you want in your life possible. It's the difference that makes the difference. So I know this is some tough love here. Nobody likes to be told that they have to give up things that they're passionate about and focus on only one of the things that they're passionate about. Most people want to just do everything, dabble in everything, but that also means you'll never become the best at it and you'll never make the most money at that one thing. And so for me, that one thing at the time was building a YouTube channel. After tons of studying other people, like reading and just researching and experimenting, I realized, okay, if I build a YouTube channel, I'll be able to write books, get speaking gigs, sell my own products, basically do whatever I want. Like there's a lot of things that I was interested in, but I realized this is the one thing that had a clear path to really monetizing and becoming a rich girl. It was the one thing in my life that would make everything else that I wanted in my life possible. The difference that makes the difference. And so I really went all in on it. And was I scared? Yes, I was freaking scared. I had never really been in front of the camera. I was really shy. I was terrified of haters, all the things, but I really went all in on it. Now, in terms of how I made that work financially, I had a bookkeeping business on the side. That was another one of those things that I experimented with in those 4 years. And at some point I was invoicing quite a bit of money, you know, enough to pay my bills, but I really took it down to the bare minimum. I fired all my clients except for one that paid $3,000 a month, and I just made that work. And then I outsourced as much of the work for this client as possible to a Filipino VA who did a lot of the heavy lifting for me. And that really freed up a lot of my time to create these YouTube videos, which by the way is a full-time job. I also barely had any social life. So when anyone would ask me for coffee or lunch or dinner, the first thought in my mind is this person gonna help me with my YouTube channel? Is this person gonna make me more successful? Is this person gonna make me money? And if the answer was no, I was like, sorry, but not sorry. And truly looking back, yeah, maybe I didn't have the biggest social life and I wasn't the most fun person to be around, but picking that one thing and laser focusing on it like I had never done before was the difference that made the difference. And within 3 years, my YouTube channel grew into a full-blown 7-figure business, and I also became the first self-made millionaire in my family. Okay, that sounds like a lot, you know, 7-figure business in 3 years, so I'm just gonna rewind a bit and break some of that down, because obviously that didn't just happen magically, right? There was some really big key mindset shifts that I had to make in those 3 years for this to happen. First, I had to stop waiting for permission. You know, at the time when I started my YouTube channel, there were no really big female YouTube channels in this space. They were all, you know, very male dominated, like so many industries in the world, not just YouTube. And get this, even though I had a Wall Street background, a finance degree from one of the top finance schools in the States, I still had imposter syndrome. I would think, who am I to do this? And I really didn't feel confident. But the key is you need to stop waiting for permission for someone to tell you that you are good enough. And you just need to decide that you are good enough. And so that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. Maybe I'm not good enough, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. And then the crazy thing is, once you actually start, then you start feeling confident. I really don't know anyone who starts and already feels confident from the get-go. And through this whole experience, I just realized that life is like one big video game, and the currency is confidence. Those who get ahead in life are rarely ever the ones who are the most qualified. They're just the ones who decided that they're gonna just do it anyway. And whether they had the confidence when they started or not, the confidence came later. So that's a really key point. No one is gonna give you a seat at the table. You have to make yourself a seat at the table. And I know it's not an even playing field out there. I certainly know this as a woman of color, but honestly, so what? Stop waiting for permission. Just decide that you're good enough, decide that you're qualified, and just go for it. All right, the second mindset shift I had to make was surrounding myself with the right people. When you are just starting out, your dreams are so vulnerable. You are vulnerable. You don't know if this new thing that you want to do is going to work. You're not confident yet. You don't have the numbers and results to back it up yet. And so you really need to be careful who you share your dreams with. I am really speaking from personal experience. It is so crushing when you share this like new seedling of a dream that you have for your life with someone who is jaded, who's a naysayer, who frankly doesn't have your best interests in mind, or maybe does have your best interests in mind, but they just live in a different paradigm. It's a very small world paradigm. You share with someone like that and they could shut you down like this, and then your dream is crushed before it's even had a chance. It's like a little seedling just sprouting out of the ground, and it needs a lot of love and care and support and sunshine. And so I want you to really find that love nest of friends and family members who believe in your dream, who believe in you, and even if it doesn't really make sense to them, they still support you. Don't let anyone kill your dream before it's had a shot. So the other aspect of surrounding yourself with the right people is, in addition to that love nest of people that love and support you, you also need a group of people who are what I call models of possibility. So people that you regularly interact with, whether it's online or in person, that really embody the life that you're trying to build and who are doing successfully what you are trying to do. So the way this looked like for me is a couple years ago, I was invited to this spontaneous trip to Tulum. And even though money was tight for flights and stuff, I just knew that I had to go on this trip because the girl who invited me was an entrepreneur, very successful. I also really liked her. She was super cool. And she said she was gonna meet up with some other similar entrepreneur girls in Tulum. And I just knew like I had to be there. I had to get myself there. So I went, and all of these girls just blew my mind. They were all so successful, so fun, so beautiful, just living in such a different paradigm from the friends that I grew up around or people that I was used to hanging out with. And I was thinking like, wow, I look like these girls. I, make the same jokes as these girls. Like I am literally their friend. I'm just like them. There's nothing different from them and me. So if they're doing all this badass stuff in the world, making tons of money and just killing it, why can't I? And really, even though I was already making some progress in my business at the time, when I came back from that trip, I just felt this renewed sense of motivation like crazy, because I just really knew that what I wanted was within reach. So that's really, really important for you. Find people that you relate to that have already achieved what you are trying to achieve. It will make it seem so doable. All right, the third key mindset shift I had to make is reprogramming my money mindset. Scarcity, guilt, like it was just a whole thing. I remember in middle school, we had to get these TI-83 calculators, these graphing calculators for this math class that I was enrolled in. And my parents bought me one. I knew it was very expensive, so I already felt guilty about that. It was like $80. And I remember one day I left it in the car accidentally, and it was summer, so it got really, really hot. And then when I came back and found the calculator, it wouldn't turn on. So I thought it had broken. broken. And I just burst out into tears in front of my dad. And he was like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? And inside it was because I knew that $80 would be really hard for my parents. And so you can imagine from this story that I had so much scarcity programming embedded in my nervous system to reprogram if I ever wanted to enter my rich girl era. And that's something you're gonna have to do too. This is where spirituality really helped me. I was lucky enough to stumble across a book called The Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks. I will link to it below. And it taught me that the universe is on your side. Whatever that huge, amazing, grand thing that you want, the universe wants you to have it. And learning about the law of attraction just made me see that the world is not a hostile place. It just seemed like a friendlier, more beautiful place to be. So that when things got hard, because let's be real, there were some really fucking hard times, I still felt that invisible force kind of behind me, telling me to keep going, whispering in my ear like, you're on the right track, Rose, like keep going, you've got this. And so as challenging as some of those times were, I always carried around this feeling with me that what I want is already mine, what I want is already on its way to me. I can't explain it, but spirituality really helped me so much. Something else that helped me during this time was a gratitude practice. So every morning I would wake up and think about 3 things that I was truly grateful for. Like laying in bed and feeling the things that you're grateful for and really going into detail about why you're grateful for those things and making it more about like your path and purpose in life versus like material things. So for example, instead of saying I'm grateful for my friend Sandy, or insert somebody's name there, get into depth like I'm grateful for my friend Sandy because of all the ups and downs that we've shared together and how she has helped me learn to be a less selfish and more giving person. And as you are saying this to yourself out loud or in your head, you're really gonna feel the gratitude in your heart. And that's really important because it attunes you to the abundance and money and richness and good that is already in your life. And attuning yourself to that high vibe is really key in attracting more of that, because like attracts like, right? And this was really a key part of reprogramming that scarcity money mindset that I grew up with and was so hard to shake off. But with these kinds of practices, you can totally, completely transform everything you know or feel about money and enter this whole new paradigm where making money and attracting financial abundance is like normal. It's just the way things are. So that's a little bit of my story. Let's do a little recap of the macro steps that I took. First, I'd made the decision to enter my rich girl era. Don't make it wishy-washy. Don't leave it to like somehow, someday, eventually, but like decide. The second step is to find that one thing that will make everything else in your life possible. That one thing that you enjoy, that could make you lots of money, that will be the money that you need to enter your rich girl era. And if you have trouble finding that one thing, that's okay. Give yourself some time to explore and try things out and learn and research with the intention that at some point you are gonna pick one thing. Then the last part, the third step, is to work on your mindset. Not waiting for permission anymore, just deciding that you're good enough and just going for it. 2, surrounding yourself with the right people, a love nest of people who love you and support you and believe in you, and also the group of people who will serve as your models of possibility of what's possible for you. And of course, the third mindset shift is shifting from a scarcity mindset to more of an abundance mindset where you can make money and attract money with ease. All of this will take some work, but it is totally doable. Like, if it happened for me, why can't it happen for you? Now, I'll be sharing more of the nitty-gritty of the entrepreneurship side, how I built my business, how I even found what business to start, my real estate investments, my house in Mexico, all the things that I have in my life now that are my dream life. I'll be breaking down in a lot more detail the story of how I got to those things and what it really takes. So stay tuned for that. And if you are into it, make sure to subscribe. But for now, I will leave you with this. I want you to know you are amazing. You are more capable than you know, than you give yourself credit for. And whatever background you come from, whatever mistakes you've made in the past, you have what it takes to enter your rich girl era whenever you want. And if you just make that decision to do it, to enter your rich girl era, you might just blow your mind at where you end up in just a few years. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got a lot out of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.